Let's just cut right to the chase, okay? Hitting that auto-renew button on your health insurance this year? Yeah, it could be a massive, massive financial mistake. Welcome to This Explainer. If you get your health coverage through the Affordable Care Act marketplace, honestly, no matter how long you've had it, you might be thinking, hey, the easiest path is just to let my plan roll over. Makes sense, right? But we're going to dive into exactly why taking a few active steps to secure your coverage right now is literally more critical than it has ever been.
So, to really grab your attention right out of the gate, because of some major tax rule changes hitting in the 2026 tax year, just sitting back and letting your Healthcare.gov plan passively renew, that might actually result in a devastating, completely unexpected tax bill. The rules of the game have shifted dramatically. What used to be this really convenient safety net could now act as a straight-up financial trap if your income or household details have changed even just a tiny bit. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll hit the renewal reality check, the tax credit trap, active versus passive renewal, evaluating your coverage options, a step-by-step renewal guide, and finally, support and next steps. Let's get into it.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the Renewal Reality Check.
Timing is absolutely everything here. You have a very strict time frame for the federal marketplace. Open enrollment begins on November 1st, and, in most states, it runs until January 15th. But here is the absolutely critical detail you cannot miss. If you want your coverage to actually start on January 1st, you have got to make your plan selection by December 15th. If you wait until after the 15th to pick a new plan, your coverage won't even kick in until February. And nobody wants to be left uninsured for a whole month, right?
Look, if you only take away one single thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. Ignoring those renewal notices you get in October or early November is just no longer a safe option. You're probably going to get two letters, one from the marketplace, one from your insurance company. And they're going to tell you if your plan is even still around next year and what your new premium is going to look like. As this quote spells out, just letting the system do the work for you can lead to some incredibly nasty premium surprises come January.
Moving right along to Section 2, the tax credit trap. Okay, before we go any further, we really need to nail down these two terms because they are basically the foundation of your health insurance costs. First up, APTC. That stands for Advanced Premium Tax Credit. This is the monthly subsidy the government sends directly to your insurer to lower your premium. Now, the government calculates this based on your MAGI, or Modified Adjusted Gross Income. Basically, that's your best estimate of what you'll earn next year. And here's the kicker. MAGI actually includes things you might not even realize, like non-taxable Social Security benefits. If you estimate this incorrectly, you are setting yourself up for a major headache.
And here is the stark contrast that makes this year so different from the rest. Pre-2026, if you accidentally underestimated your income, it wasn't the end of the world. There were statutory caps that protected you from massive subsidy repayments. The government effectively put a ceiling on how much you'd have to pay back. But starting for the 2026 tax year, those safety nets are completely vanishing. No more caps. If your advanced tax credit was higher than what you actually ended up qualifying for, you must repay that excess, dollar for dollar.
Let's put this into perspective with a real-life example. Say you're a freelancer, right? And a late-year surge in business pushes your actual income way higher than what you originally estimated on Healthcare.gov. Well, under the new rules, you could easily owe thousands. We're talking like a $2,500 difference, paid directly back to the IRS when you file your taxes. And to make matters worse, owing a substantial chunk of change like that can actually trigger separate IRS underpayment penalties. So those minor income bumps, yeah, they can now become major tax cliffs.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, active versus passive renewal.
There's a really clear behavioral difference between your options here. Active renewal puts you completely in the driver's seat, and honestly, everyone should be doing this. You log in, update your income, verify your doctors are still there, and consciously select your plan for the upcoming year. Passive renewal, on the flip side, means you do absolutely nothing. You leave yourself entirely at the mercy of the system, which is just going to use last year's outdated information to guess your eligibility.
Now, passive renewal is really just designed as a safety net to keep people from losing coverage entirely. But relying on it, incredibly risky. First, like we just talked about, outdated income estimates trigger those uncapped tax repayments. Second, insurance premiums fluctuate wildly. Some marketplace premiums are jumping by as much as 51% this coming year. And finally, if your current plan gets discontinued, the system will execute what's called a crosswalk. It basically auto-enrolls you in what it thinks is a similar plan. But that crosswalk plan, it might not even cover your specific doctor or your daily medications.
All right, Section 4, evaluating your coverage options.
So the big takeaway here is that insurance companies change their rules every single year. You have to aggressively verify your details. Check the network type. Remember, HMOs and EPOs generally won't cover out-of-network care. Use the provider directory to make sure your preferred doctors are still on the list. Check the formulary to see what tier your prescription drugs fall into this year, and definitely review your metal tier. For instance, if you qualify for cost-sharing reductions, you almost always need to select a silver plan to actually get those extra benefits.
But while you're shopping around, definitely keep this vital protection in mind. Rest assured, while prices and networks are always bouncing around, the Affordable Care Act strictly mandates that you cannot be penalized, charged more, or forced into a different plan simply because you used your health insurance a lot last year. Your medical history from the past 12 months, it doesn't dictate your options for next year at all.
Let's get practical with Section 5, Step-by-Step Renewal.
Following these exact 4 steps on Healthcare.gov is going to ensure you are fully protected. Step 1, as we noted earlier, is actually reading those renewal notices. Step 2 is updating your household and income information, and you've got to do this before you shop, so the system can recalculate your correct tax credit. Step 3, actively compare plans using those newly updated subsidies. And Step 4, submit your application and pay your first month's premium directly to the insurance company by January 1st to lock in that coverage.
Now, here's a bit of an insider strategy, especially if you're self-employed, a freelancer, or you just have a highly variable income. Consider adopting a conservative subsidy strategy. What do I mean by that? Well, by choosing to take slightly less than your maximum allowable tax credit each month, you create this brilliant financial buffer. You'll pay a little bit more out of pocket every month, sure, but if your income unexpectedly jumps, you won't owe a massive penalty. And hey, if your income stays exactly the same, you just get the remainder of that credit back as a tax refund anyway.
I do want to quickly highlight state-based marketplaces too. If you live in a state that runs its own exchange, like Covered California or NY State of Health, the dates and rules can vary just a bit. A lot of times, these states will send you a notice and give you exactly 30 days to respond and report any changes. If you don't, they automatically redetermine your eligibility without any input from you. So please pay really close attention to the specific deadlines for your state.
And finally, Section 6, Support and Next Steps. Look, if things get complicated, remember you don't have to tackle this alone. Certified agents and brokers are out there, and they can absolutely help you actively renew, provided you give them explicit consent, of course. Also, a quick warning, if you are actively switching from a marketplace plan to an employer-based plan next year, you must log in and explicitly cancel your marketplace plan by December 15th. If you don't, you could end up getting double billed in January. And finally, if you do happen to miss the open enrollment window, you'll need to check if a recent life event qualifies you for a special enrollment period. As a quick reminder, while this explainer is meant to guide you through the source material and give you a really comprehensive overview, it is just for informational purposes. It's not a substitute for professional financial, tax, or medical advice. Because everyone's income and health situations are highly unique, please consult a qualified expert or tax professional regarding your own specific circumstances.
So, armed with all this knowledge, you now have the power to protect your wallet and secure the absolute best possible health coverage for the upcoming year. Yes, the system is designed to catch you if you fall, but passive renewal, it's just no longer a safe financial bet. The only question left is, will you take the wheel and complete an active renewal before the deadline hits? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and best of luck with your open enrollment.